State legislators here in New Mexico have audited how almost $100 million in your money for child care was spent on nearly 20,000 low-income kids. The audit found it's possible. The state is being built by more than $10 million with state-funded babysitters, daycare centers, and preschools cooking their books and fudging their attendance numbers. The audit also questions whether these programs are actually helping kids get ready for kindergarten and if CYFD knows how to oversee the money it's handing out to all of these programs. The audit also shows a big loophole in the state's child care system that had registered sex offenders living in homes approved as daycare centers. According to this Legislative Finance Committee report, 3 providers approved by the CYFD to provide a home daycare were hosting kids in homes where registered sex offenders live. According to the CYFD, the providers do go through a background check, but the addresses were never cross-checked with the sex offender registry.
It should have never been the case. It would never be a safe situation to have those kids in those homes with a sex offender.
CYFD says it's working with the Department of Public Safety to set up an automated system to repeatedly check those addresses against the sex offender registry. The report also identifies other state child care issues, including probable fraud by the providers, padding their attendance figures, and questions about whether the CYFD oversight is solid enough. Well, an investigation is now underway into a program that sends troubled teens on tours of the Metro Detention Center. The father of a 16-year-old who took that tour this weekend with a friend who was ordered to do so says female inmates groped the girls and even tore his daughter's jumpsuit. He says the teens were also taken to a men's pod where those inmates called the girls names and made sexual gestures, and he claims that the guards just let this happen.
My interpretation is that if you were being purposely touched against your will, I mean, that's being molested.
Now, Teen Court runs this jail visit program. Kids are referred to the court by CYFD, and for now, those referrals are on hold. So far, the MDC says it's found nothing to substantiate this story, but the investigation is continuing. 5:33, a 4-year-old boy still recovering after being hit by a car over the weekend. Actually, it was an SUV. The driver of that SUV that hit him took off, leaving the child lying in the street. The child suffered a broken pelvis, scrapes and bruises, and had to have staples on the back of his head. Now the family is searching for answers.
Because we was trying to focus on him. I wasn't trying to focus on anything else. But by the time I looked, he was, the car was gone. How can you honestly have that in your heart to just hit anybody, but yet a 4-year-old child and just keep going?
Ouch, poor little guy. Now, there were numerous cameras in the area monitoring a nearby construction site. Security video from ICSS Inc. shows a black SUV right here with tinted windows matching witness descriptions speeding down the road when the accident happened. The security company says it's going to try to create higher resolution images to hopefully reveal a license plate number to go ahead and give to police, hoping for the best for that young man. Well, police say a pair of married burglars broke into a home where 3 kids were alone. Arthur and Yvette Quintana are accused of kicking in the front door of a home in northeast Albuquerque on Monday, just about 3 in the afternoon, right after the kids got home from school. Police say the 7-, 8-, and 10-year-olds hid while the thieves tried to steal more than $2,000 in electronics and jewelry. Well, a neighbor was watching the entire thing happen.
All I could think about was those kids. All I could think about what those kids were going through or what was going to happen to them. No contact with
Well, that neighbor, thank goodness, called police. They tracked down the Quintanas and arrested them. They're still looking for a third person identified by the Quintanas as Oso. Now, the kids were not physically hurt, but as you can imagine, they're still badly shaken up by that. Well, CNN is standing by its security guards, caught on camera roughing up a student. Watch. Okay, what they're yelling there is leave him alone, leave him alone. That's what someone else is yelling. 2 weeks ago, a student started recording his cell phone after seeing a security guard throwing another student's skateboard on the ground. In the video, you see the officer pushing and grabbing the man, then putting him in a chokehold. Now, according to CNN spokesman, the security officers are helping a woman who had fallen when the student almost ran into her. That student, who was not supposed to be skateboarding in the area in the first place, then ignored a warning to leave. In a statement yesterday, CNN said, quote, the security officers followed protocol and took the proper actions to keep a potentially dangerous situation from escalating. The skateboarder was detained and later released. Well, New Mexico's new health insurance marketplace will soon be offering up plans costing less than the national average. The plans are being offered to come into compliance with the Affordable Care Act. The report by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says New Mexicans will pay an average of $282 a month for a mid-range insurance plan that's lower than the national average of $328. This is if you do not get insurance from your company. So if you work for a small business and you're uninsured, you can start enrolling in these health plans next week through the state's health insurance exchange. Well, flu season isn't too far away, and if you live in Clovis and you haven't gotten your shots yet, listen up. The New Mexico Department of Health is hosting a free flu shot clinic. It goes from 8 this morning until 11 tonight at the Baxter Curran Senior Center on Hickory. Everyone 6 months and older is encouraged to go get a flu shot. It is free for anyone who does not have health insurance and wouldn't otherwise get one of those shots, and doctors are saying get one sooner rather than later. 7 families now without homes after a fire rips through an apartment complex in Tennessee. A 9-year-old kid named Jonathan Bent now being called a hero for telling everyone about that fire. Video captured by a firefighter's helmet cam shows crews battling the flames. That is intense. It also shows a heart-stopping rescue as a small child being rescued by being lowered to a balcony by a firefighter to a police officer. There is that right there. That child is Bent's younger sibling. Firefighters rescued 2 adults and 3 other children. One woman was treated for smoke inhalation. Thank goodness no one was seriously hurt. The Red Cross is helping everyone. It's not known how that fire started. Some incredible video. That's the stuff that firefighters go into every single day. Dangerous.